Living the life.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Living the Life. And of course, just before the break, we've got the chef cooking away over there, slaving in the kitchen, as we say. We're going to find out how, and it looks fantastic. It smells amazing in the studio, I'll tell you. But now we're going to go over to our guest for the evening tonight, Bashir Sattar, the chairman of the World Memon Organization Global Youth Wing. And he looks very young, mashallah, himself. He joins us to talk about the work of the organization and the various chapters and about the history of the World Memon Organization. Assalamu alaikum, Bashir bhai.
Wa alaikum salam.
Welcome, mashallah. Looking young as ever.
Oh, please.
Our chef was saying that you look like Steven Seagal.
Is that right?
He's an action man, mashallah. I'm telling you, if anybody wants to tweet in tonight, you look the double of him tonight, mashallah.
Well, I can tell you this, that the lockdown has played its role. I mean, he lost a few pounds in lockdown. So
I'm sure Steven Seagal's in the same position. He's had a few pounds on as well, and all the rest of it. Well, listen, Jazakallah khair for being with us. Before we actually start to talk about the work of the World Memon Organization, let's go back before you and I were born. What the origins of the world, the Memon community generally. Tell us a bit about that, because that's very fascinating.
it is. It's a fascinating story, and the origin of the Memon community. Some people say that it dates back to the 8th century. Some people say the 14th century. So between the 8th and the 14th century, Arab traders from the Arabian Peninsula arrived on the west coast of India, in Gujarat, Porbandar, which is a trading port, and they assimilated through their trading activities with the local Lohana Hindu community, and the reverts that emanated from those associations. They were very pious Muslims, and they were given they were called mu'mins, and the word mu'min through the years has been derived into the word Memons. So that's our origin, and then we've scattered throughout the subcontinent in Sindh, Gujarat, and other parts, and of course now Memons can be found in all parts of the world.
But many moved to kind of East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, that kind of area of the world as well?
Yes, I mean, the World Memon Organization has trustees, patrons, and members from Japan right to South America, and from Canada right down to the Australasia. So
and look, interesting enough, the Memon community has really excelled in business, hasn't it? It's been very shrewd and kind of forward-thinking that way.
No, alhamdulillah, every community has its, has its benefit, has its particular, attributes, and the trading sort of attributes of the Memon community are well renowned. It's known, but also the Memon community is very active in philanthropy.
Yeah, so I mean, on that note, you're one of the very few communities that have done very well in trade and business, but you've also equally given back a lot, mashallah, and that's where I want to come to the philanthropy element. You're one of the founding trustees of the WMO. Tell us about, where did the idea come from? Where did you think that we needed our own platform to start giving back?
Well, see, the Memon community has been doing this for generations. It's nothing new. The philanthropy, the structure of Memons has been really done through Jamaat, what we call Jamaats. Yeah, there's about 500 Jamaats in India. There's about 60 Jamaats in Pakistan, and there's Jamaats throughout the world, from South Africa to America, Europe, Japan. There's Jamaats everywhere. So we work under a Jamaat structure. So our late founding father, one of the founding fathers, Haji Abdul Razak ARY, the owner of the ARY group.
Yes.
He brought together Memons from all over the world, including members from Europe, which was a delegation led by Sir Iqbal Sakrani, who's our founding patron, and others with us from the Europe chapter and from all over the place, all over the world. And we established this charity in 2002, established in the United Kingdom. So the head office is in the United Kingdom. But we have 9 chapters throughout the world. So the chapters cover Pakistan, India's, the Africas, the Americas, the Far East regions, and of course Europe. So we operate in that manner, and we have administration offices in all the 9 chapters.
And so annually you pull together all your zakat, sadaqah, etc., and then identify different projects to support throughout the world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, rather than do things on your own, there's greater barakah to work together.
Of course.
And by working together, not only do we help to uplift humanity, but also there is a benefit for the whole community to get together on one platform. So, all the brothers meet, the sisters meet, the children meet. There's a very wide-ranging barakah in all of these activities which we do collectively, and that really is the essence of the community. Alhamdulillah, that the unity of the community was found, was one of the foundations of this vision that the founding fathers had, and mashallah, alhamdulillah, we have several thousand members throughout the world, and that's growing all the time.
Sure. Well, look, we had obviously the European chapter and the kind of the leadership on a few weeks ago, talking about the fantastic work that you've managed to, put on the back of COVID and looking after the community within the UK itself. Tell us about some of the worldwide activities. What kind of projects you support, what you've developed.
Well, Naeem, our projects vary on a need basis, and I mean, I'll give you an example. Recently we had this very, very tragic situation where the Ummah, members of the Ummah, Muslims, were being forced to cremate bodies in Sri Lanka.
Yes,
I don't know
yes,
if you
yeah.
obviously know about that. And
yeah.
Mashallah, Islam Channel played a very prominent role in assisting the communities to put pressure on the Sri Lankan government. And alhamdulillah, one of our founding patrons, Sir Iqbal Sikrani, led by Sir Iqbal Ba, and also others from South Africa, from the Americas, from Pakistan, from India, and including our current president, Mr. Salman Iqbal, who is now the CEO of the ARY group. They put pressure on the governments, their respective governments. So in the case of Salman Bhai, he put pressure, he spoke to Imran Khan, the Prime Minister. Our South African colleagues, Solly Noor Bhai, he spoke to the Prime Minister of South Africa. And through these collective community activities and pressures, we've managed today to learn that the Sri Lankan government has now overturned that policy. They now issued a declaration today that cremations will now no longer be forced, and now it's down to each community to decide how they wish to bury their COVID dead. Alhamdulillah, it's a massive victory for all communities, because not just the Memon community worked on this, although we played a prominent role through Iqbal Bhai, but a lot of communities have worked together on this particular platform to put pressure on the Sri Lankan government. And it's fantastic news. It's a relief that the tragedies that we were seeing, where our brothers and sisters and even children were being burnt upon being given a COVID death, declared a COVID death, that tragedy is now no longer going to happen, inshallah.
And what I mean, alhamdulillah, I mean, that just shows you the prowess of, being together generally, not just the Memon community, but the world, Muslim community. What about the other work that's, in the pipeline, that's ongoing at the moment around the world? What other kind of activities? And also a bit about your youth wing, mashallah.
Yeah, well, fortunately, my tenure as the chairman of the Global Youth Wing has come to an end now, and we are about to announce the successor to my 3 years as chairman, and inshallah that will be done in the next couple of weeks.
And what does that youth wing? What does it include? What kind of activities?
Well, what that was about. That was about bringing together our youth, because see, the youth were not engaging in the way that they should be engaging.
Yeah.
And we went to the core roots of that, because the youth are our future. And getting our youth involved not only in WMO activities, but also in understanding how the Memon community thinks and works, in not only delivering your professional development, but also developing your own development to help others.
Sure.
This is it's one of the founding principles of not only the WMO, but it's a founding principle of our deen, that we help others, those who are less fortunate. Zakat is a classic example of that, and so our zakat dissemination throughout the world features very heavily in the way we operate, in the way we do our work.
And what kind of projects do you fund? What kind of activity?
Well, I mean, to give you an example, I mean, I'll give you an example. Like in India, we launched Project Mohabbatein under the leadership of our Vice President there, Haji Ehsan Gadawala. who's a great friend of mine. And a great example that Project Mohabbat was done in the shan of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to bring the love to the humanity, to and disseminate that love through the need that people have, to bring the need that they have to our fikr and bring it into our minds and provide the assistance that they need, because there are so many unfortunate people around the world who need help, and we do our best to play our part. We can't change the world, but we can make a difference, however small that may be. And in Project Mohabbat, we did training camps, we did food distribution, we medical camps, we did all sorts of different things. Another thing we're doing at the moment is called the Rozgar scheme in our Pakistan chapter, where we're collecting substantial sums of money, and we're providing tools for families to earn an income. So we're providing, for example, motorcycles, we're providing rickshaws, we're providing sewing machines, where families can interact with the WMO, receive these benefits, and start to earn an income for their families. These are some of the examples. And of course, as you know, my colleagues a few weeks ago, they were on our program. They expressed to you the World Food Program, which we're running in the southeast of London. And many families have benefited from receiving food parcels from the WMO in the last few weeks.
And look, what's the future holding? What are the plans over the next year or so for the WMO?
Well, mashallah, we have a fantastic new dynamic team led by Muhammad Salman Iqbal, who's the CEO of ARY TV, and his deputy, Mahmoud Sheikhani. This young dynamic team have very ambitious projects planned for the future, not only to expand the footprint of the WMO in terms of its membership base in order to facilitate more work, but also to do really amazing mega projects like building a Memon University, building more hospitals that are needed in places of need, and more housing schemes where the people who are most in need of housing, we can provide some form of assistance to them as well.
Yeah. Look, just to kind of finish off, Bashir, how easy is it, or how difficult is it maybe, to keep the community together? Because obviously, within every community, just like within every family, there's always people who want to do their own thing. How easy or difficult is that? Because, I've always, over the years, mashallah, I've known you, I've known Naeem Bhai, Nosad Bhai, and many others. I've always seen a lot of unity amongst you guys. Something that I don't see in many other communities, certainly from our, background and stuff, we don't see it. How difficult or easy is that?
Well, something, Naeem Bhai, the WMO is like a family. In any family, you have differences of opinion. Yeah? It's about tolerating those differences. It's about accepting differences. The fact that we work on a consensus basis. So, for example, if we have a decision to be made, we'll work on a consensus. And one of the things that I learned in the last few years, especially working under my previous president, Mr. Solih Noor, who was an amazing brother. He's an amazing humanitarian, an amazing ambassador. I learned with him that you can differ in your views, but you still go along the path of consensus. And so consensus is the way that you try and keep the unity together. You try and build that bond, and you keep that love and that brotherhood amongst you, because you're doing one thing. You have one intention, that's to serve humanity. And that is the sole purpose of our existence in the WMO.
Ameen. Well, look, we've got the chef in the studio tonight. He's cooking a Moroccan dish. Is it a Memon dish that, the community is famous for?
Well, our akni, it's like a palau, like a very spicy palau, is very famous. And also our halim is also very famous. And Naeem Bhai, you've eaten that.
I've eaten at your house, and at Naeem Bhai's house, so I know the food is just phenomenal, mashallah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. You're most welcome again, anytime.
Inshallah. Well, look, Jazakumullah khair for being with us. Give our salams to the rest of the team that they were here a few weeks ago. Keep up the fantastic work, and we look forward to hearing from you again, inshallah.
It's great to see you again, Naeem Bhai.
Likewise. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Absolutely fantastic. Steven Seagal, no, actually, Bashir Sattar, mashallah, from the WMO.